the officiating crew, a veteran group, for the second meeting between these two teams here this season. Ball in the air. Here we go from Littlejohn. Early on, Schieffelin with the touch. A Clemson team that's won 5 of its last 6 games. Big win over Florida State on Saturday. Turned over Bub Carrington, the freshman from Baltimore, taking it away.
Now, Clemson has had some turnover problems in ACC play, so you got to avoid that. They did a nice job getting back on defense because this Panther team, they like to get out and go if they can.
Freshman Jalen Lowe kick to the corner, wide open, triple bang. How about that start from Pitt, the team that leads the ACC in three-point makes a game?
Well, Zach Austin, who just made that shot, he made over 120 threes at High Point before transferring to Pitt. And there's another turnover. The Tigers, 2 possessions, 2 turnovers.
We saw the starting lineup just a moment ago for the Tigers. Hunter, Schieffelin, Clark, Girard, and Hall. Maybe an All-American. Now Pitt, Henson, Carrington, Lowe, Federico, Austin. Jalen Lowe's insertion into the starting lineup just a couple of weeks ago has changed the complexion of the team for Pitt. They are 9-2 in their last 11.
Talked about Blake Hinson before the game, and Jack Clark is matched up against him. That'll be an interesting matchup to watch all night long.
Ian Schieffelin had a big game against Pitt back in early December. 17 rebounds. He ripped down the most by a Tiger since Trevor Booker did it way back in the day. Another jumper, count it. Carrington, again, a good sign here for the Panthers on the road.
And it's a good sign that they were able to play in transition. Carrington is not a great three-point shooter, but when he can get in the lane for that short jump shot, he is extremely dangerous.
5-0. Panthers early on. Jeff Capel was worried about the physicality that Clemson might bring, but right now early on, Pitt is up for the challenge.
Now the ball's got to go to P.J. Hall, and he needs to attack Federico. He faded away. That's not the way to get after Federico.
Baseline drive, and Austin couldn't knock it down. Zach Austin, he transferred from High Point, a 3-and-D specialist.
He made a 3 and then missed the layup. That drives you crazy if you're a coach.
Down low, Hall trying to wrap it around. Ooh, late whistle called. And P.J. Hall will go to the line, the senior from Spartanburg.
This is not a very good pass to P.J. Hall, and he's got to struggle to catch it. And now he thought he was further under the basket, I think, than he really was. And so he tried to go under the basket to score. I think if he goes straight up, he might have an and-one opportunity.
And as Hall goes to the line for a couple of free throws, good shooter on the year. Dan, what are you looking at for both of these teams early on?
Well, Clemson, they have to avoid turning the ball over. And of course, they've turned it over twice already. But if you are going to turn it over, you can't have transition turnovers, because Carrington in particular is extremely dangerous in the open court. And for Clemson, you know, they've got some power on the inside, and they have to use it. You know, Federico is very tall and very athletic, but he's pretty skinny. And I think you can go after him.
You look at Pitt's hot streak, 8-2 in the ACC since January 20th. Struggled to start in their first 6 games.
It corresponds with the insertion of Jalen Lowe into the starting lineup with Ishmael Leggett coming off the bench.
It's the Panthers by 4. There he is. They call him J-Lo. Jalen Lowe, the freshman, knocking down the triple.
And in conference play, he shoots more than 39% from out there, particularly with the shot clock running down. You got to make sure he doesn't get quite as clean a look.
There's a big bucket there for the Tigers. Hunter, who has been playing very well as of late.
When Chase Hunter plays well, usually the Clemson Tigers play well.
Hunter's been in double figures 10 of his last 11 contests. 16 big points against Florida State on Saturday in the win. The Tigers sweeping the Noles on the season. There's a defensive stop for Clemson. JG3, he can get hot in a hurry. Clark, oh boy. That ball was sent to Columbia.
Well, we talked about three-point shooting, and the guys we talked about haven't made a 3 yet, but here's Jalen Lowe. He's one of Pitt's better three-point shooters. And Zach Austin had 5 blocks the other day, and he's already got his first one today.
Jeff Capel talking about Austin, said, we know he can shoot the three. We want to see it improve a little bit, but that defense has been hit big for us over the last couple of games. Schieffelin can't knock down the tray ball.
So far, the Tigers are taking either long shots or contested shots, and they're not anywhere close to offensive rebounds.
Clemson was able to hold off Pitt back in early December in the Steel City. Nice move, did everything but finish. Lowe staying with it. And he's earned a second chance here for the Panthers.
P.J. Hall never saw him coming, and Lowe, I think he had a basket, except he slipped and fell down. This is a tough matchup for Girard.
Green said Carrington into the teeth of that defense, driving baseline, patient. Foul called as Hall went into the air on the pump fake. Let's take a look at our star stories for players that have been crushing it of late. Brought to you by Crush. And you look at Ish Leggett coming off the bench here for Pitt. It has changed their season in attack mode. And Jack Clark, look at the numbers as he's gotten healthy and gotten back into the starting lineup.
Of course, being healthy is really important. Clemson missed him early in the season. And Ishmael Leggett, you just got to tip your hat to him. At his previous stop at Rhode Island, he was a starter all the time. And that's an adjustment that he's, you know, I talked to him earlier. He just wants to win, and he's willing to do anything that's necessary.
Nice pass inside. Federico can't connect.
Well, you're not going to get, Pitt has missed 2 point-blank range shots so far here early.
RJ Godfrey, a touch, trying to hook it in, can't. Grabs his own board, and he walks, shuffle those feet. 4 turnovers for Clemson in the early going.
You know, and that's really tough. Clemson has 1 field goal and 4 turnovers. That's not normally a recipe for success. And the other problem for Clemson, the reason Godfrey's in the game is P.J. Hall picked up another early foul. And you mentioned he was in foul trouble the other day. And that, I mean, they were able to beat Florida State even though he was in foul trouble. But P.J. Hall's got to figure out a way to stay in the game.
Just 16 minutes against the Noles. P.J. averaging just 9 points per game over his last 2 contests. The Tigers would love for him to stay on the court and get going. Drive, kick, 3 ball in the corner, back iron. Not there for Guillermo Diaz-Graham, the Spaniard.
And that's what Pitt likes to do. They like to spread you out, drive the ball, kick it out for a 3.
Speaking of threes, one of the best to ever do it in the ACC, Girard III knocks it down from the parking lot.
You just cannot relax against Joseph Girard. I mean, you may think, well, he's not ready yet, but he's always ready.
He's always ready. He was ready against Pitt the first time. Is Lowe, the silencer. Girard had 25 points and 6 threes against the Panthers, so they've seen it up close.
So far, Pitt has been able to get in the lane against Clemson.
J-Lo has been fun to watch early on. He's got 5. And the lead 4 by Pitt. Clark, mid-range J, got it. Smooth looking stroke.
Good movement, and that's what you have to do against this Pitt defense. You know, in conference play, Clemson really has only 1 guy, Girard, that you really have to worry about. And that's what the numbers show from the 3-point line.
Jumper, Low, goes down. Foul called.
We talked about Joseph Girard III. He's coming up the court. You think he's just settling in? Well, no. He's lining you up for that shot. You've got to get after him early. And Jalen Lowe has done a great job with this floater in the lane. He is so good getting in the lane, drawing the defense. If you come to him, then he's kicking it out for a 3. If you don't, he's really good with that floater.
I want to remind you, tomorrow here on ACC Network, 8th-ranked Duke squares off against Louisville at 7 Eastern, followed by the premiere of Coach K and Roy Williams, Rivals Reunited, a 1-hour special featuring coaching legends Mike Krzyzewski and Roy Williams sitting down together for an extensive conversation for the first time since their college coaching careers began over 40 years ago. Your good friend Wes Durham hosts. Should be a lot of fun.
Now that's the perfect host for something like that.
12-8. Pitt. Hunter, 3 from the right wing, no.
Hunter has shot the ball better recently. That was a tough one. That was a bad pass. He had to reach way down to get it. And once you do that, it's hard to bring it up and make that three.
Hunter almost got it, slanging it to Hinson. I call basket interference.
Well, the ball wasn't going in anyhow, but how about that? Hinson, he's stuck in there. He throws it off the board to himself and then tries to tip dunk it in.
Right off the schoolyard.
That guy's got some flair.
Telling you.
But he hadn't had a shot. I guess he's had one shot.
He's got no points, definitely. 24 double-figure scoring games, 12 games with 20 points for Blake Hinson, a stud who had 22 over the weekend against the Hokies in that win. Godfrey turning, trying to get some space. Oh, how about the patience and the finish from R.J. Godfrey.
Now the Pitt bench is wondering why there wasn't 3 seconds called. Everybody over there waving 3, and they weren't talking about a shot.
Clemson's had some success early on in the paint. Godfrey converting that time, 12.6 rebounds against Florida State over the weekend. Rod Rondell saying that was his best game as a Tiger. And speaking of guys who's been around the block, Jeff Capel, a Coach K disciple. You see his resume so far. Dan, Jeff has just been so good for them over the last couple of years. He got the patience that he needed, and he's turned Pitt right back to being one of the proud programs of the ACC.
That program was so far down. He and his staff have done an outstanding job building the Pitt program back up. They're a big ticket item now. They're a tough ticket to get in Pittsburgh again.
Carrington jumper, the 3-ball, yes.
Now that was a contested 3, and Carrington is a guy in conference play, only shoots 25% from out there. So I think if you're the Tigers, you can live with that one. Each team has played man-to-man so far.
Schieffelin working down low, gets to that preferred right hand and puts it through.
And that's where Clemson has an advantage. Pitt's guys are tall in there, but they're not very bulky.
Here's Leggett. Has the matchup against Schieffelin. Oh, high off the bank. Did he call it? Looks smooth. Counts anyway.
Leggett's a guy who can come off the bench. He's Pitt's leading rebounder. He can drive the ball to the basket. He can shoot the 3, and he can make ridiculous-looking bank shots, clearly.
Leggett at 17 against the Tigers in their first meeting.
Boy, a mismatch inside. Schieffelin had Leggett on his back. They didn't find him.
Oh, big block. They're inside by Diaz. Graham now a tie-up. Possession arrow will go to Pitt. This has been an emotional game so far. How about the boombox? Bringing the vibes early. Pitt has been rolling as of late. The Tigers trying to protect home court. We've got a good one early on at Littlejohn. Well, Pitt's looking to finish strong here down the stretch. A similar position that they were one season ago. Dan, what do you make of their resume so far here on the bubble?
Well, this is a big game for Pitt. Pitt is in a situation, Jeff Capel and his guys trying to play their way into the NCAA tournament. They lost 5 of their first 6 in conference play, but they were still struggling to put the team together, and the move of Lowe into the starting lineup and Leggett coming off the bench has really fueled them. They're playing as well as anybody in the league right now, but all those games, early games count, so they just have to keep winning, and this would be a quad 1 opportunity, a quad 1 win for them tonight if they can get it. A huge game for the Panthers.
Yeah, Pitt, of course, knocking off Virginia, too. Another 3 there from Leggett. The Panthers have 4 of them.
The Pitt Panthers have 6 guys on their team who have made at least 15 3-point field goals in ACC play. So we talked about Blake Hinson, and yes, he's a great 3-point shooter, but they've got a lot of guys that can get it out there and knock it down.
They lead by 8 on the road. A team that isn't afraid of playing away from the Pete, as Hall does good work there to draw the foul. P.J. Hall will go to the line.
And Clemson has had their success inside, but Pitt has done a nice job this time against a Clemson zone. Just moves the ball a couple times, and Leggett with his wide open. Now, Clemson has chosen to take the ball inside. They've already got 8 inside points, and that's what they've been able to do, get the ball close.
PJ leaves it short. Do want to remind you that Saturday right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app, we'll have a lacrosse doubleheader that starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. The 7th-ranked North Carolina women's team hosting number 5 Notre Dame. And then it's a men's matchup between number 8 Johns Hopkins and number 2 Virginia. PJ splits him at the line. He's got 2 points.
If for Clemson to have their maximum success, P.J. Hall has to play well on the inside for him. And you have to wonder, picking up that quick first personal foul, if he's going to be a little bit conservative.
On the drive, oh! Missed the dunk. Diaz-Graham did everything but throw it down.
Now, P.J. Hall, that was a smart play because he got beat out on the perimeter and he just hung back. Didn't try to block it.
Confidence from these Pitt Panthers, and how could you not have it? Austin dials up a triple.
Well, now that's Austin's second 3, and as we mentioned, he's one of those guys who've made at least 15, but he shoots under 30% from out there, although, as we mentioned, he made 129 in 2 years at High Point.
It's 5 of 6 from beyond the arc, down low trouble. Wiggins on the catch, back to Godfrey, turning, trying to face, and Godfrey can't knock it down.
The entire Pitt defense is collapsing on the inside. You got to be able to find people on the perimeter.
They are going to say that Leggett stepped out of bounds. A discussion by our officials.
Well, was it a foul or was it an out of bounds play? And here Diaz-Graham, Godfrey comes over and helps, and I think that threw Diaz-Graham off just a little bit. But Austin, he's not off. He's made 2 of his 3s. Made both his 3-point attempts.
How about this defensive start from Pitt? Clemson has made 5 shots from the floor. They have 4 turnovers.
When you throw the ball inside, the defense collapses. You got to give the guys someplace to throw it. That's a tough shot. What has happened so far is the ball's going in, and the Clemson guys on the outside are just standing. They got to get themselves in the field of vision of the guy with the ball in an open area so he can throw it to him.
Little ISO there for Carrington, and a travel. Wow, Clemson out of sorts here in this first half.
And that's a pretty good way to put it. That's now 5 turnovers for the Tigers. And that's just a situation where Carrington surprised Girard.
What do you make of this so far, Dan? What is Pitt doing to cause this hesitation from Clemson?
Pitt is playing with tremendous intensity, and we said this is a desperation kind of game for the Pitt Panthers.
It's a Pitt team again who's not afraid of being on the road. They have 6 true road wins on the year. That's 3rd in the country. Nice drive there, but couldn't knock it down. Was Lowe.
Well, Lowe's gotten that shot anytime he's won. He hadn't made them all.
The Tigers over 3 minutes now without a bucket from the floor.
You got to get better ball movement and player movement. Ball's got to go side to side.
Here's JG3. Girard trying to create something. Turnaround jumper not there. That allows Pitt into transition. Leggett stops. No look pass. Layup Federico, no.
Boy, Federico has missed a couple at point-blank range. Diaz-Graham missed the dunk. The Tigers are fortunate they're not further behind.
Hunter turning, fadeaway jumper. And the mid-range Jay stops the drought.
That's a basket the Tigers badly needed. But again, one-on-one play, and that's a tough shot. It was well defended.
Hunter at 16 against Florida State and 18 against Georgia Tech right before that. Low inside, little runner, leaner, no. Loose ball, Carrington picked it up.
Tigers just not able to secure it.
Carrington, mid-range, back iron, and a long rebound to Wiggins.
Now, the Pitt Panthers, they get the ball up there. They're not afraid to shoot it. They're not trying to run time off the shot clock. When they're open, they let it go.
PJ wants a 3, got it from the logo.
It is impossible to describe how big that is for the Clemson Tigers. P.J. Hall is a guy who can really shoot it from out there, and yet in conference play, he's under 30%. That's got to be a huge confidence booster.
Hall trying to get the Clemson faithful into it. One of the best home advantages in the ACC. Pitt 0 for their last 5 from the floor. Clemson's D's turned up a notch. Hinson still quiet in this one. A star on the attack. Count it. Right on cue, Blake Hinson.
Hinson, I mean, he does a great job shooting the 3, and he drives the ball to the basket. You got to try to make him a mid-range jump shooter. And here we're going to get a foul against Federico, fouling P.J. Hall.
Pitt still up 7. Clemson working their way back into it here in the first half.
Our crust with more flavors than anyone else.
Like the garlicky seasoned cheese in our garlic epic stuffed crust pizza. We're talking Papa John's iconic garlic sauce flavor mixed
Well, the Clemson Tigers got his team to 9-0 to start this season, and that was the best start since 08. 7 postseason appearances. The Tigers are well positioned here for an 8th.
Clemson has played very, very well in the non-conference part of the schedule, and that's really what has helped them as they struggled early in conference play. And think about this now. Clemson has lost 3 conference games by 1 point, and they lost the 4th conference game in overtime, where they had a free throw to win the game and missed it. So Clemson, they're 9-7 in the conference, but they are really close to being 13-3. This is a really quality Clemson team.
They have been one of the best teams in the ACC on the court. But here tonight, they have struggled to get into their offense. Pitt's defense has been active. It'll stay with the Tigers there. They have coughed it up 5 times. The Clemson offense is super efficient when they protect the ball.
They just look a little out of sync, and it's not that they're not playing hard. It's just they just look a little out of sync right now. And so all they have to do until they get themselves rolling is stay in the game, and they've done that so far.
And they had 23 bench points on Saturday against Florida State, a big reason why they won. Just 2 of them so far here in this first half. That'll stay with the Tigers, so another chance, just 4.2 though on the clock.
That ball should have gone to P.J. Hall immediately. He was open, and by the time he got the ball out there from 3, Diaz-Graham was close enough to contest the shot. That's what I'm talking about. Clemson is just a little bit off right at the moment.
Does Beadle realize? Inside. Hall realizes. Turnaround. Jay. Oh, gravity. Didn't pull it through.
Well, I thought that was going down. That was a tough shot, and Diaz-Graham was right there to defend it.
Diaz-Graham, wide open 3, back iron. He has been torching the Nets in ACC play here this season from beyond the arc.
He's a high percentage, low volume 3-point guy who's already missed 2 tonight. That's going to be a foul, I think, on Austin. So all that stuff that went on after Schieffelin shot the ball is immaterial because Austin fouled him on the catch. So Schieffelin, that's a lot of banging to take for just the ball out of bounds.
Well, Ian Schieffelin has been so important to what Clemson does. They are plus 114 on the year when he's on the court.
He's a guy who just, everything, he seems to make the right decisions. Things flow very well when they flow through him.
Jeff Capel, Pitt's head coach, called him the ultimate glue guy. Shot clock under 10, winding down. Beadle to his preferred left hand, trying to turn, creating. There's Schieffelin on the putback, not there.
These teams are playing like this is a big game. I think everybody's a little bit tight.
They heard Dan Bonner's in the house. Pitt leads by 7. Conference's second leading scorer. Blake Hinson has just 2 points.
Oh, what a pass!
Wow, and then a foul called on Clemson. Schieffelin thought he had a block. What about the no-look feed there from low?
Well, this is a play where he just gets right by. Clark tips it away, and I don't know how Lowe even saw him in there. And when you swing your arm down like that and come through the other guy's body, the officials are going to call that a foul every time.
First free throw off the mark. Saturday afternoon, the first baseball game of the season on ACC Network as Miami playing the second game of a 3-game series with 4th-ranked rival Florida. Our coverage beginning at 3 Eastern from Alex Rodriguez Park in Coral Gables. Also available on the ESPN app. Diaz-Graham left 2 points at the line there.
He hasn't been to the line that much in conference play. Only a 67% shooter.
Hall's hit 1-3. That one rims out.
That's a good look. And I think the three-point shooting for P.J. Hall becomes a confidence thing. If he's open, he's got to take them.
He shoots it at 33% on the year from beyond the arc.
But under 30 in conference play.
I just feel like, Dan, if he can increase that average and have that be a part of his game even more, he can have a long NBA career. Shot clock didn't reset. Hinson at the buzzer lets it fly. And the Tigers get the stop. Hall reaching high into the sky for it.
And interestingly enough, that's Hinson's first three-point attempt of the game.
Points have been hard to come by as of late. And Hunter will try and end that at the line. And it's a Clemson team that's won 5 of its last 6 games. You see the conference record. You see the net. Pretty good numbers and some really good wins on the year for Brad Brownell's team.
Well, that strength of schedule is really impressive. Remember, Clemson is the only team to beat Alabama at Alabama this year. They handed TCU's first defeat in a game that was the neutral court up in Canada. So the number 5 seed is Joe Lunardi's prediction. But as I say, this is a very, very solid Clemson team. And it's got to be encouraging for them that Chase Hunter has, he's driven the ball to the basket a couple times. He's got to score well, I think, for Clemson to be at their best.
Well, Hunter's got 4 points. Knocks down the free throw. That snaps a 3-minute and 12-second scoring drought for the Tigers.
Neither team is particularly red hot here recently.
That win over Bama, Dan, snapped Bama's 19-game home winning streak. And then Pitt snapped UVA's home winning streak just a couple of months later.
Now, you made the point. Pitt has played extremely well on the road.
They beat Duke in Cameron. Jeff Capel, I asked him how big of a win was that. He said, you know what was bigger? Was beating Georgia Tech the very next day. It showed me maturity and a sign that this team understood the mission of the season. Hinson down low. They got it to their star, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line.
Hinson has done a really nice job being patient, waiting for his opportunities. He hasn't tried to force anything from 3, but he's gone down inside. And this is just, he gets great position inside. There's a pretty good pass, good catch. He collects himself. Now, interestingly enough, he's not a particularly good free throw shooter either, only about 2 out of 3.
Hinson hits the first. Cable talking more about the Duke win. Said Coach K used to say teams, it was in the 90% percentile, I should say, right after they beat Duke, would lose to the Blue Devils. And so he challenged his team right after it. And what a streak it's been for them. 9 of their last 11 games.
Well, we talked about how Hinson's not a great free throw shooter, 66% in conference play, but those look pretty good. Again, he's been very patient. He hadn't tried to force anything here early.
It's a 7-point advantage on the road for Pitt. Hunter swings it out. Clark pump fakes, cross-court pass, deflected, turnover, and it's a 3-on-2 here for the Panthers. Bub Carrington all the way to the rack. It rimmed out on him.
Boy, Carrington's missed a couple layups. That wasn't an easy shot, but that's one he's normally going to make. And as I say, Federico's missed a couple. Diaz-Graham has missed a dunk. The Panthers, they're ahead in the game, but they've missed some easy opportunities.
No doubt, Dan. Girard, 3, straight away splash.
And you can't afford to miss many easy opportunities against this Clemson team.
Another multi-3-point game for Joseph Girard III.
Girard just keeps moving.
Brad Brownell saying he just keeps getting more comfortable with every game. Dan, you agreed with him in shoot-around earlier this morning.
Well, as the more I watch Girard, the more comfortable he looks with this Clemson team.
Big response there from Leggett.
Leggett had his toe on the line, so that's a 2. But Leggett he's made some important baskets so far in this game for the Panthers.
Jeff Capel said Leggett really embraced the role of coming off the bench for the team. Said he's a starter in my eyes. Traveling violation. Hall walked the 7th turnover.
Well, Carrington is a guy who can get into the lane, and this is, I mean, it's a tough shot, but he misses it, and because he misses it, that allows Clemson to get out and go, and Joe Girard, moving without the basketball, finally gets it and knocks down a 3.
What a drive, strong finish there from Leggett.
Leggett coming off the bench. We talked about how important he has been for the Panthers, and he has done a great job off the bench. Already 9 points in the game tonight.
Timeout taken by the Tigers and Brad Brownell. Well, it's been Pitt so far in the first half. One of the best shooters in conference history trying to keep Clemson. 31-23 Pitt leading Clemson here by 8 early on. Well, it was the Tigers who knocked off the Panthers earlier this season, and Pitt trying to get its revenge. And what is a even more critical point now of the year, you can basically smell March. It's coming.
I don't know if you can smell it or not,
I can smell it,
but it's,
I'm telling you.
It's very close.
Delicious.
And you know, that other game, that was in December. That's almost like a year ago.
Yeah, both head coaches were adamant. We're different teams at this point. Girard, drive, floater, rattles through. That's an underrated part of JG3's game. He's got 8.
When he gets in there, he's big enough that he can score. He has a problem sometimes driving by quicker guys. Oh, he picks up a foul there.
That is Girard's 2nd.
And Joe Girard is a guy who he shoots the 3 so well. You've got to pay close attention to him. And there's a lot of contact in there, and he just fights through it all.
Transferring from Syracuse at the beginning of the year.
But he's 6'2". He weighs 190 pounds. He's a good-sized kid.
Danny hit the 2,000-point plateau of his career against his former team earlier this month. That rattles around. Not going to be there. Foul call going the other way. It's on Diaz-Graham.
He got caught reaching over the back that time. Nice block out by Josh Beadle. And that's, you know, Diaz-Graham has 3 personal fouls. Federico has, you know, he hasn't played particularly well so far. So that really limits Pitt's depth. Well, Federico's got 2 fouls. So Diaz-Graham has 3, Federico has 2. So the Panthers are going to have to go a little bit smaller lineup. Jeffress has been a valuable contributor off the bench. Jeffress, he's only about 6'7", and Diaz-Graham and Federico are both close to 7 feet.
Backdoor cut, that's pretty. And Hunter's fouled. How about the feed for Schieffelin? Great action run by the Tigers.
Really nice screen by P.J. Hall, and Clemson is doing a better job here later on in the first half, moving without the basketball. I mean, Harrington just gets picked off, and Jeffress has to help on that, and he doesn't. Nice cut by Hunter.
That's a Clemson team that on the year hasn't gotten to the free throw line at a ridiculous rate, I should say. Saturday, they attempted 30 free throws against Florida State, and they knocked down 24 of them. One of the best free throw shooting teams.
There was a lot of fouls in that game.
And Hunter cashes in 2. Well, somehow it's just a 4-point game.
Jeffress has left the game, so Pitt going very small. 3 guards along with Hinson and Austin.
Carrington going to do it at the buzzer. He feeds it instead. And I think Austin's shot came after the horn sounded. It did indeed. And the Panthers really controlled the first half.
There were 7 times in the first half, but 5 of those were very early. And the Clemson Tigers cleaned that up at the end of the half. And neither team has shot the ball well, but the Tigers have done a nice job staying in the game and now cutting it to 4. Should be a fun final 20 minutes.
here in the Palmetto State.
Panthers are going to have to get Blake Hinson involved if they're going to win this game. Hinson has only attempted 4 shots, only won 3, and that was a wild thing at the end of the shot clock. So he has yet to attempt a real 3-point basket in this game. Clemson has done a nice job containing him.
Stats that may or may not matter. Pitt is 15-1 this season when leading at halftime.
Well, that's a nice stat. I don't know that means a thing.
Exactly. Low step back, clock winding down. Oh, he got nothing but air.
Well, they were trying to get the ball to Hinson in scoring position that time, and they spent most of the shot clock doing it. And Clark did an excellent job defending Hinson, and Clark has been the guy on Hinson most of the game so far.
Lowe did have big points in the first half, 7 of them. On the drive, immediately Girard showing you initiative, getting to the rack.
That's a couple of times now we've seen Clemson take advantage of Pitt trying to overplay on defense. Nice pass by Schieffelin, and Joseph Girard, we talk about his 3-point ability, but again, he's big enough and strong enough that he can score inside. That time he got fouled. Talk about scoring. This is where he scores very well.
Tops in the ACC this season, 88% from the free throw line. That's actually number 3, excuse me.
When conference games, he is now 66 of 68. Make that 67 to 69. He's taken 69 free throws in conference play, and he's missed 2 of them.
He's got 10 points. I was right the first time. He does lead the league in free throw percentage. He's 3rd all-time in free throw percentage. J.J. Redick leading that one.
And the Panthers, they're a team, 44% of their shots come from beyond the arc, but they can't rely strictly on the 3-point basket.
Good ball movement. Hall couldn't catch it cleanly. Now he'll go back to the basket game against Federico. Hook shot, skies it, it rolls off the rim. Schieffelin doing what he does best, battling down low. A foul called on Hinson.
That is a good move by P.J. Hall. Federico does a really good job making it a tough shot. And then Schieffelin just does what Schieffelin does. Look, he's already got great rebounding position, just holds his spot and is able to claim that rebound.
Girard at an ocean. Now looking inside. Ball poked away, turned over. Leggett, open court, shoulder down, Hall. Not in his house.
Girard a little bit disgusted with himself that he lost that ball, but his teammate bails him out. Leggett thinks he's got a lane to the basket, but P.J. Hall is right there, and Hall can afford to be aggressive in this half. He only has the 1 personal foul.
That's the first block for Clemson tonight. Hinson firing, rims out. Hall cleans the glass.
And that's his first real 3-point attempt.
Wanted a call, didn't get it. Panthers down the other way. Low, what a move to get to the rack that time. Couldn't finish again.
Well, that was a tough shot.
Schieffelin count it, and the foul.
Schieffelin does a great job getting position inside, and what a great pass by P.J. Hall. Did they call that foul on Federico?
On Hinson, so he's got
Hinson,
2 quick ones here in this half. Schieffelin knocks down the free throw in the first lead of the game for Clemson. Little 5-0 spurt.
And, I mean, it's just a great job by Clemson. They looked a little out of sync to start the game, but they just battled back.
We've got a good one here down the stretch, folks. Buckle up. Leggett, no. Federico kicks it out. Hinson steps back. Jumper. Air ball. Federico again had it poked away. A scrum and a foul called. How about the efforts by the Panthers on that offensive possession?
It's great defense by Clark. I mean, Hinson had one that could have been wide open, but Clark cut him off. And then he makes Hinson step back. And Leggett is the guy who's always around the ball. He leads the Panthers in rebounding just because he's so aggressive.
Leggett knocks it down. Tomorrow, ACC Network, 8th-ranked Duke squaring off against Louisville at 7 Eastern, followed by the premiere of Coach K and Roy Williams' Rivals Reunited, a 1-hour special featuring coaching legends Mike Krzyzewski and Roy Williams. They sit down together for their first time in 40 years for extensive conversations, and it's going to be a lot of fun, hosted by Wes Durham.
Panthers 0 for 7 from the field to start the half.
Pittsburgh taking the lead.
Hinson's got to be careful. He didn't want to pick up a 3rd foul.
Short jumper, Girard. That's not a layup.
Not a good idea to leave him.
He's got 12 now, Dan. And the Tigers are invested in this one. Leggett lost it, foul on Hunter.
This is just a situation where Hunter is being a little overly aggressive. You know, he reaches his arm and grabs him by the shoulder. You just follow him along there. And he had help on the interior.
There's no doubt this Clemson team has elevated to another level, and its star point guard plays exceptionally well. Hinson, that time, the patience and the finish at the rack.
Clemson brought the double team, but it was a little too late. And when Hinson gets the ball right there, he rarely passes it.
He's got 6. Back and forth we go. Early on in the second half. Schieffelin to that right hand, lost the handle on it. Hall, little jumper. Splash. Beyond the arc three, P.J. Hall's got a pair of them.
And I think he surprised Federico by stepping back. Federico, I thought, was in pretty good position, but he didn't follow that step back, and that gave Hall the room to shoot it.
Low, foul called. It's on the floor. That'll take us to a immediate timeout. Second leading scorer in the ACC, Hinson getting going, but P.J. Hall, this is his home court. And he went corner, tray ball, to an awesome tournament at our nation's capital here this season. Dan, take a look at this bracket here if the season ended.
Well, all the way over on the right there, those are the teams right at the moment. If we started the day, they would have the double bye. You can see both Clemson and Pitt are in the other category. And that they can still play their way into the double bye, but they're just worried about winning games right now. Syracuse with a big lead right at the moment over Virginia Tech. You'd like to stay out of that far left-hand column because it's too many games to win the tournament. Pitt has started the second half shooting very poorly. Only 1 for 8. In fact, they made some threes to start. They're 4 of their first 5. They're 1 for their last 10.
Big steal in the open court. Hunter not able to finish, but he's fouled.
That is only the second Pitt turnover of the game. That's just a lazy pass by Lowe, that one-handed pass, particularly in traffic like that, and Hunter read it all the way. You know, Clemson has started to make baskets, and interestingly enough, psychologically, when you start to make baskets, your defense picks up. And so we're seeing both things, and because the defense picks up, Clemson is getting easier opportunities. So Pitt has to find a way to fight through this dry spell. They've got to get Hinson more involved.
You and I were talking at halftime. It almost felt like a win for Clemson, the way that first half win, to only be down 4.
Well, particularly the way that first half started, Clemson did a nice job battling back.
They shot out of a cannon here early in the second half, much like they did against Florida State on Saturday. They're outscoring Pitt 12-4. Austin, drive in the jam, and the whistle.
So Josh Beadle is the one they called for that foul. And this is a great job by Pitt moving the ball. And the pump fake, he's made a couple of threes, has Austin, so you got to go out there and guard him. And Josh, that's really optimistic by Josh Beadle to think he's going to block that shot. That's one where you just get out of the way, but guards always think they're going to block bigger guys' shots.
Three-point play. Austin's got 9 big points. Here now for Pitt.
That's his first points in a while. He scored those 2 threes early in the game.
Hunter put him on skates. Had to hit the shot, though, for the highlight. Back iron.
Really good tip by Hinson. He didn't get that rebound, but he was in the midst of 3 Clemson guys and tipped it to his teammate. Hinson's got to help his teammates by working a little harder to get open.
Wide open. Diaz-Graham, that rims out. How about Schieffelin tipping it out to Beadle?
Pitt continues to struggle from behind the arc.
They're now 1 for their last 10 from the bonus sphere. Beadle couldn't hit the 3. That'll be Panther basketball.
Well, now P.J. Hall looked to me as if he had an open look, and he passes it up to Josh Beadle. And even though P.J. Hall in conference play is only shooting 29% from the, Josh Beadle is shooting 7% in conference play. So, you know, maybe Josh Beadle was open for a reason out there. Beadle in conference play is now 1 for 14 from beyond the arc.
I would say shooters shoot, but then you would come back with, well, you're not a shooter.
I would say get closer. Nice job by Lowe, and that's what Pitt was able to do earlier in the game. Clemson's been able to cut off that drive into the lane lately.
Lowe now with 9. Hall, that one rims out. They've had a couple of them go in and out.
That's one of those ones where Hall, if he takes it the first look, then that's pretty good. That's probably good, but he did the pump fake and then that threw his shot off, I think.
Almost too high for Austin. He was able to use all 6-7 of them. We've got 2 ties and 6 lead changes here in the second half. Hinson trying to get going.
And Hinson can make that shot. Tough, contested, long threes. I think that's his best thing. Right, there you go. Get closer. Beadle drives the ball to the basket. When you miss a long 3, sometimes that's like a turnover. Nice job by Clemson getting that out quickly.
And yet another lead change.
This is the type of game we expected.
It's been fun so far, partner. Foul call. Is that on P.J. Hall? It is. And is that number 3? It is now his 3rd.
Now, he only had 1 at halftime, right?
And he picked up an early one here in the second. So now Hall and JG3 each have 3.
See, and now that's the kind of foul that P.J. Hall has been picking up. There's no reason to commit that foul that far from the basket against Diaz-Graham.
Hall moved into 10th in Clemson scoring history in the first half. Hinson, that one off. Ball loose. Who's going to pick it up? Somehow, Pitt comes away with the basketball. Lowe steps into a 3. The lefty trigger up the horn. No. Big rebound for Clark. And another throwaway from Clemson.
That was
avoided
great
that here in the second
defense
half.
in transition by Leggett. Dylan Hunter was rolling through the lane, and Leggett got in the way, forced him to stop, and he tried to pass back, and he threw it out of bounds or into the backcourt.
Just the second turnover here of the half by the Tigers.
Again, they had those 5 early, and they got that under control.
Here's Leggett, one of the best 6th men in the ACC. Head down, trying to get through. Really good defense from Clemson.
A little bit too much one-on-one at the moment for the Panthers.
Beadle, the teardrop won't be there. Offensive foul calls. It's Lowe in there, taking the charge.
This is a charge you rarely see called anymore. And Lowe, I mean, he's waiting for him, but it looks like his heels may be on the line of the restricted arc. But, I mean, he was waiting there all day for him. You have to be established before the airborne shooter plants his foot before he leaves the floor. Boy, that's really close. But, I mean, he's standing there waiting for him. That's one where Beadle just has to pull that one up.
Back-to-back turnovers now for Clemson. Here's the freshman. He's got a matchup he likes. The blow by and a foul called. It's Godfrey.
But Godfrey that time, you know, when a guard like that is quick enough and drives by you, you don't have to try to get in front of him or on the side of him. You can get behind him and still contest the shot. No help there because Pitt had the floor spread.
Oh, an excellent free throw shooter. 82% coming in. And he knocks it down to tie this game. Saturday, right here on ACCN and the ESPN app, we'll have a lacrosse doubleheader. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. The 7th-ranked North Carolina women's team hosts number 5, Notre Dame. And then it's a men's matchup between number 8, Johns Hopkins, and number 2, Virginia. Lowe's back into double figures 12 times in 13 ACC games.
He's really played well. He's helped keep the Panthers in it here in the second half when they have shot the ball so poorly. And, I mean, Pitt's got to feel pretty good about the score right at the moment because Hinson simply hasn't been a factor offensively, and yet they still lead by 1.
Well, Lowe said Zach Austin, Blake Hinson, and Ish Leggett really took him under his wing when he got here earlier this season. How about Schieffelin? Little mid-range jumper.
Well, Schieffelin is just too big and strong for Jeffress down on the inside.
Chef's got 7 and 9. Offensive foul.
Diaz-Graham, illegal screen.
That is the 4th on Diaz-Graham. This game has all the intensity of a game.
He is a guy that has really had a good season, and now he's got 7 points in this game to go along with his 9 rebounds. The key there is, though, Diaz-Graham just went to the bench with his 4th foul. Federico has 3 fouls. A guy like Schieffelin, who has played so well this year, has a chance to operate inside because Pitt's saddled with foul trouble. We talked about the 3-point basket, Aria, and how important it would be. Well, in the second half, Pitt is 0 for 7 from beyond the arc. Clemson 1 for 4.
It's made a difference, hasn't it?
So 3-pointers still going to be important, but guys have to start making them.
Guys like JG3 and Blake Hinson can heat up in a hurry. Nice feed down low. Finish not there. Godfrey battling, as was Wiggins.
That was a shot that Clemson, that's one they really need to make. That's exactly what we were talking about. They get the ball inside against Federico, who's in foul trouble, just can't convert.
It's been over 3 minutes since Pitt hit a shot from the floor. The Tigers defense has ramped it up. Here's Jeffress against Schieffelin. Right hand through contact, no. And a offensive foul.
Federico. I think Federico coming over the back, and if that's true, that's 4 personal fouls. They said it's his 3rd, okay. So, okay, yes, that's a foul. You push the guy in the back with the official standing right there looking at you. Usually that's a foul. So he's not, now he's got 3 fouls.
Fed didn't look over here, but he might have said, hey, don't foul me out of this game. Not yet. Give me a second. They need his big body down there, don't they?
They do. They also need some offense from Hinson.
As the Tigers by 1. Schieffelin just hit one from there a moment ago. That one rolls off the rim. Pick and roll. Federico that time made no mistake.
Clemson just did a poor job getting back on defense. I think they were trying to find Hinson, and as a result, they lost Federico.
Great roll to the basket for Federico. Federico, the junior from Finland.
Well, he's not going to shoot jump shots for you, but he can do that.
Under 10 now on the shot clock. Girard, 5.
Wow.
Deep shot. Oh, my gosh. Oh, baby, JG3.
I mean, he's been doing that for 5 years now. Nobody should be surprised.
He is closing in on 400 career threes. Step back. The response. How do you like that from Carrington?
Again, that's not the best part of Carrington's game. It's part of his game, but that is a big, big shot for the Panthers.
Girard inside, leaning in, skips it. Now to Godfrey. Godfrey fouls after a couple of nice moves to free himself up.
Well, Federico, he's really good at setting that screen in the middle of the floor right there and then just rolling to the basket. And Girard, I mean, you talk about a contested three, that's the definition of a contested three. And who'd they call that foul on? Hinson?
Hinson, that's 3.
Okay, 3 on Hinson, 3 on Federico. Diaz-Graham on the bench with 4.
Godfrey, just a 56% free throw shooter. The Tigers need this one from him. Couldn't do it. And the deficit's still 1 for the homestanding Tigers.
And the danger for the Tigers is if Hinson gets hot, then they have a big problem.
Oh my goodness gracious. Carrington right now is the one on a heat check.
That's really a nice play by Carrington. Again, he comes in conference play only shooting 25% from out there.
Hunter through contact. Timeout taken.
Brad Brownell just called the timeout.
Yeah. Back and forth we go. Here at Little John. Trading threes here between the Panthers and the Tigers. Hunter finishing through that tough contact. He'll be at the line when we come back. Let's take a look at what Joey Brackets has for us here. We got 5 ACC teams in, Pitt and Cuse on the outside looking in, which means every game down the stretch now matters for all of these teams.
Clemson is in really good position. You don't want to struggle down the stretch, but this is a bigger game for Pitt than it is for Clemson.
You see Wake as a 10 seed. They've got Notre Dame.
And that's a credit to Syracuse as well. I don't think anybody expected them to have the kind of season. They started a little bit slowly, but they've won some big games, have the Orange.
They're up 9 right now on Virginia Tech. Under 4 media timeout over there. Schieffelin, he's got 9 points and 10 rebounds. Tigers by 2.
The Tigers defense has been really good in the second half. Pitt only shooting 28%.
Got 13 lead changes in this game and a whistle of foul.
And this is a really nice job by the Panthers to try to get the ball inside to Hinson. You know, he's been guarded by Clark most of the night. There was a switch that time. He had Schieffelin on him. Schieffelin tried to come over the back.
Hinson does a lot of things well. Free throws, however, an area he struggles. And he misses the front end. That's a big one.
The front end is really critical. So you left 2 points at the free throw line. Now you got to get a stop down here.
Kick. Beadle. 3. That's long.
Again, I think if Beadle should pass that up.
Clemson 5 of 13 from beyond the arc. At the rim, Smith. Ish Leggett.
Well, Leggett has been critical for Pitt coming off the bench. He always provides energy, but he's provided energy and offense tonight.
Beadle, put back. And the Tigers lead again. He got closer.
Beadle really doing a nice job on the offensive boards that time. And again, you know, just get closer. He's got 6 points, and in a game like this, those are 6 big points.
Here's Ish Leggett. Deep three off to the left. Rebound by Hall.
The only guy that's made a three for Pitt in the second half is Carrington. Everybody else is 0 for 11.
Beadle feeling confident. He's got 2 buckets in a row. Timeout taken by Pitt. How about the energy shifts here in Clemson? It's been Josh Beadle. A lot of it coming in second half. Back-to-back buckets by Beadle has the Tigers up 4.
Well, he's made all his shots inside the arc, and again, in a game like this, those 8 points coming off the bench are huge. And in fact, as close as this game has been, and particularly in the second half, 4 points feels like a huge lead. This is almost a must-score opportunity for Pitt, I think.
And Beadle, the sophomore from Columbia, Gamecock country. Tigers fans glad he chose orange here. And is it Little John? He's got his team up 4. Leggett turning, fading, no Federico. Big offensive rebound clock. Did not reset. Low block shot. Leggett with 3. Mid-range jumper's good.
Boy, that is some sequence. Really good defense by Clemson. And just a nice job by Leggett to pick up that loose ball. What a sequence.
Leggett's got 15. Pitt within 2. Hall against Federico with the left hand. Banks it in.
Great job by Hall to get position. And that was a wonderful pass by Ian Schieffelin. You know, your big guy fighting for position needs the perfect pass, and Schieffelin gave it to him.
A whistle, a foul. Called on Clemson's Chase Hunter.
And he's trying to keep up with Carrington. You know, he was reaching around, grabbing him as he came off that Hinson screen. You saw just the end of it, where his arms were extended. Forced Carrington to run through those arms.
The 1-and-1 knocked down by Carrington, who shoots it at 80% on the year. Well, Thursday night at 10 Eastern, after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every game, and look ahead at the best matchups on the schedule in the coming week. That's coverage you can only find in one place, right here on ACC Network.
See if they go back inside to P.J. Hall.
A 1-bucket game down the stretch. It's Hall rotating the basketball. Beadle to Schieffelin. Tees up a 3. Oh, he buried it.
Percentage-wise in ACC play, he's their best 3-point shooter.
Chef's got a double-double himself. Him and P.J. Hall have been big here for the Tigers in the second half. Under 10 on the shot clock. Pitt needs a shot, needs a jumper. That's not going to go down.
Red Brownell slowing him down, calling a specific play. Wouldn't be surprised if you had that high-low with Schieffelin and Hall again.
Schieffelin, 7 double-doubles now this season to P.J. Hall. Hall, down low, turning, fading, and he missed it all.
He needs to go straight up with that or into Federico. The fade doesn't help you there.
Carrington, smooth as you like.
He's really good in the mid-range. He's got 15 points now. But Pitt is in a situation they need a stop.
Dan Leggett, Carrington, and Lowe have combined for 41 points, with Blake Hinson sitting at just 6 here tonight. Hunter. Under 10 on the shot clock, Beadle. Beadle to his left hand. Gets inside, tries to flip it up. Defensive stop, and there it is for Pitt.
He just needed to take that ball to the basket with his left hand. He switched to the right hand, tried to make a fancy move.
Carrington again, mid-range, no. Jack Clark, big rebounds. We're approaching 2 minutes left.
Trying to defend, and you've got both Schieffelin and Hall who can play on the inside. And that high-low game between Schieffelin and Hall has been really successful for Clemson at times tonight.
Here is Hall. Under 2 to play. Trying to force it down low to Schieffelin. It's a turnover, critical time.
And force is the right word. If Beto had made that pass as soon as he caught the ball, I think Schieffelin was open.
11 turnovers for Clemson, 3 for Pitt. A whistle on the floor called. Is that foul on Beadle? It is on Beadle.
The big part of Pitt's offense is the guards driving the ball into the lane. And Carrington just puts his head down and he's going to the basket. Beadle hit him a couple of times.
Here's Carrington. Pitt will shoot 2. And he knocks it down. He's got 16.
Clemson, we said they turned it over early 5 times, and they've really gotten that under control. But that was a tough turnover by Beadle.
2 big free throws for Carrington, the 10th youngest player in the NCAA this season. Still hasn't turned 19. That happens in July. He's got his team within 1. Hall found himself alone, and the whistle calls.
Well, I think it was Federico that somehow fell down in there. There was a screen on the inside, and Federico just lost Hall completely. You see, Federico's nowhere to be found. He's laying down on the court in the middle of the lane. I think P.J. Hall was stunned that he was so open.
That is 4 on Federico. And Hall, big free throw here. Under 90 seconds left to play. And here is P.J. vying for All-American honors here in his senior season. That's called from a veteran, and he extends the lead to 3.
There's still plenty of time left in the game. The Panthers don't need to go for 3 here, but you've got to get a good look. Boy, Hinson thought about that, didn't he?
The last 90 seconds have been an adventure for Clemson a couple of times this season. Carrington to tie. Not there. Jack Clark, a big rebound.
And P.J. Hall is able to just ignore Federico. Carrington had an open shot, though.
He's in the hot hands for Pitt here in the second half. Under 10 on the clock. Clemson. Hunter. 3. That will fall. What a big shot for Chase Hunter. A home bounce has the Tigers up by 6.
We talked about the three-point shot being a big factor in this game, and with the shot clock running down, talk about your home bounce right there. Chase Hunter. I mean, that's a big shot. He's now got 15 points in the game. He has played very, very well. That's his first 3 of the game.
It is. And we talk about the last 5 or 6 contests. Chase Hunter, who had made his name on hitting big-time shots throughout his career. He's been phenomenal here for Clemson down the stretch, and you feel like not just in this game, But as you turn into March, you're going to need Chase to be really big for you as you move not just to DC, but to March Madness as well.
Well, when you get into the tournament time, you need your best players to play well. You need them to be healthy. You need them to play well. And certainly Chase Hunter has played very well tonight. But even though he's only scored 2 points, Jack Clark has 7 rebounds, and he's done an outstanding defensive job against Blake Hinson. Panthers need to score quickly.
Carrington takes it in, and if you're Pitt, that works. Clock stops, you're going to the line.
They're obviously, Clemson is concerned about guarding the 3, and so Panthers take advantage of that. And Carrington drives into the middle of a crowd, tries to throw it up there. He's really been impressive tonight.
The foul on Beadle is his fourth.
So Girard is in the game because if you're the Panthers, you got to start fouling people. So Clemson will try to get the ball into the hands of Girard.
That one rims out, and now Pitt's got a foul. They're going to go down the court. The home run is hit. Another foul as Austin drives. He'll go to the line for 2. Boy, Dan the Roof ready to come off the lid here at Little John.
Schieffelin is a guy who just knows what to do. I mean, he just leaks out. They're not guarding him. You know, and you're not going to try to throw an inbounds pass to Ian Schieffelin. So, you know, with him coming to the ball, he's not the first option. And so he just does a great job seeing where the opening is.
How about this night? 14 and 11 for Schief.
Well, he made that big 3 that really changed the character of the game down the stretch. That really put the pressure on the Panthers.
That one misses. Guess who? It's Schieffelin with the rebounds.
And the Panthers have struggled a little bit here down the stretch shooting free throws.
Federico's done. That's 5. Clemson now in the bonus. It's been a busy afternoon here on the campus of Clemson. Baseball going on as well against USC. Upstate fans late filing in, but they have made a difference here in the second half. Schieffelin misses the first of 2. Knocks that one down. 7-point advantage for the Tigers.
And all you have to do if you're the Clemson Tigers at this point is defend the 3. You know, even if they get a quick 2, it's okay.
Leggett will fire from 3 off to the right. Second chance. That one not going to be there either. And Pitt's not going to foul. Final few seconds tick off. The Tigers a big second half, and they protect home court.